Good evening. Hello and welcome to DSA page live. Hello, who's there? Hello, who's joined already? Wow. Hello, Mrs. D. How are you? It's nice to see you're the first today. Hello, Gift. Good evening. How are you? Anastasia, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining. As you're coming in, please start to share immediately so that more people can be alerted and they will know that we're on. Edwin, Pastor Edwin, excuse me. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today we're having a book review. I know you've seen the title already. Nigerian Economy, the Way Forward. Nigerian Economy, the Way Forward. Hello, Adebayo. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please start to share immediately. And also invite your friends. Don't just share it, just invite people as well individually. They will feel special that way, that you really want them to come on, rather than just put it onto your page. So do that immediately, please. Hello, Kaz, Chidi, good evening. Hello, Denise, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. So it's a book review today, Monday, the 3rd of July, 2017. Hello, Evans. How are you? Good evening. Gladys, good evening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Okay, there are only a few people on right now, so I think we should all do the honors and share again. Share, so that more people can join us. You know, the more the merrier. Book reviews are always interesting. You know what to get. You know how it's going to impact your life before you purchase the book. You know what the content of the book is all about. So I think that this is a good one to invite many people. So if you just do the honors right now and invite as many people as possible, and don't just share, also invite your friends individually. They will feel honored that way. Hello, Paul. Good evening. Good evening, Daniel. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone. Yes, I can see that some people are sharing already. Thank you very much for sharing. Okay. All right, I think we're going to get started. Maybe more people will join us along the way. Okay, Kaz. Okay, Kaz has written something. Let me read that out. He's saying, why is our pastor always talking about Niger churches and not any other place in the world? Moreover, that he's not pastoring here. Please enlighten your family here. Here. Okay.
What does that mean?
Yes, I don't know, Kaz. You're saying pastor is talking about Nigerian churches and not any other places in the world. I think you haven't listened to a lot of Dr. Sunday's.
No, I do talk a lot.
Yes, but you said, I'm raising the not about anywhere else. It said always talking and said not any other place, which that is...
but he wants to know the reason.
Yes, I will let Dr. Sunday answer that himself. It's right in front of me here. But I'm just saying that it is not, you're not any other place is incorrect. Kaz, so Dr. Sunday is right here. He would answer you by himself. Okay?
Thank you for the question. Good evening, everyone. The reason why it's always talk about Nigerian church is that church and religion is one of the greatest exports of Nigeria. Nigeria is not known to be exporting anything apart from church and oil and Nollywood. And even when you look at Nollywood, it is still a lot of religion there. So, but that is just one reason. But really, when I talk about Nigerian church, I need to start by using an example. I'm just using Nigerian church as the basis for the example of the things that are wrong with the church that I needed to talk about. So that's just as an example. And if I talk about Nigerian church, which I know better than other places, it is everybody else. Let's say somebody else is from Congo. He will be able to say to himself, yeah, I see the same thing in Congo. The same thing happens in our country. Let's say somebody else is from Jamaica. We say, oh yeah, the same thing happens in Jamaica. So, but I cannot be saying, oh, this is happening in Jamaica, this is happening. It's better to just base. If you are a preacher or you are a speaker, you know you need a base, something to use as your point of contact, to use as an example. And Nigeria is the perfect example because it is the most populous black church in the world, and is the most populous black nation in the world. And Nigeria has more influence in the area of religion. Nigerian churches are everywhere, not just in Nigeria, but everywhere. So, and that is the second reason, or third reason. Then the next reason why I always talk about Nigerian churches, because that is my calling. God has called me to go to Nigeria and to go and fix the church there. So that I'm actually fulfilling my mandate. I want to restore Nigeria. I'm not going to Cameroon or Congo or South Africa or America. I'm going back to Nigeria. And Nigeria is what I want to fix. Nigeria is what God called me to fix. So that's why, that is the main reason why I'm always talking about the Nigerian church. Because that is what bothers me most. Because that is my country. I see myself as a Nigerian. I've lived outside of Nigeria for 31 years. But yet I see myself as a Nigerian. But I'm not just talking about Nigerian church. Like today, for example, I'm going to talk about Nigerian economy. Just for you to know, it's not just church. But this particular series is about church. So I'm using, but this series that I've been doing now is talking about church. So I'm using Nigeria as the example of the church that I'm correcting. But I'm talking about everything that pertains to Nigeria. And now this is the topic that we are talking about. I hope you're able to see the Nigerian economy, the way forward. Nigeria economy, the way forward. Nigeria economy, the way forward. That is the burden that I have. I have a burden for Nigeria. I'm concerned about Nigeria because that's my country, but that is my future as well. That is where I am meant for, and that's where I'm going. So this book says, the Nigerian economy, you see with Naira there, the Nigerian economy, the way forward. Then it says, taking Nigeria from economic recession into global economic dominance. Taking Nigeria from economic recession into global economic recession. Global economic dominance. So that's it. Then on top here, I have a little African proverb or African story here. The proverb says, the inability to acknowledge, appreciate, and make use of the valued gift, assets in our possession. So whatever we have, the raw material, because Nigeria and Africa is all about natural resources, raw materials. So the inability to acknowledge our raw materials, our resources, or to appreciate the people that we have, the capital resources, and to make use of these valued gifts and resources, assets in our possession until it is lost, is the cause of the mystery and wilderness the world is in today, especially our world in Africa. So the cause of our mystery and wilderness, pain that Africa is going through today is because we are unable to acknowledge, to appreciate, to value the gifts, the resources, the assets in our possession that we already have in our possession, that God has already blessed us with. That's the reason, one of the reasons for the mystery that we have. So For people who are not Nigerians that are looking at me or that are with us today, I would like to say that you are still going to find it very interesting because this is going to be a book talking about not just Nigeria economy per se. It's going to be talking about principles that could be used in other countries also. So it doesn't matter what country you are from. The principles that we are going to be examining today will go a long way to help you and your country, and not just your country, but to even help you think differently. It doesn't matter if you are interested in the economy or you are not interested in the economy. This book is going to help you to be able to, even look at your own country differently, to be able to, like me, for example, I'm not an economist and I'm not a politician, because unfortunately, a lot of people in our culture think that for you to be able to talk about this kind of thing, that let the politicians talk about it, that only politicians can talk about the economy. And, who are you? You are not an economist and you are not a politician. Why? Just leave it alone. Just leave and especially Christians. A lot of people are too shallow and they have allowed themselves to be too surface and superficial, that they are not even able to address issues on world level. But I think that if you are a holistic believer, if you are truly grown up, if you are truly matured, if you are truly advanced, mentally, if you are a grown-up person, if you are matured enough, you should be able to address things like this. You should be able to know and find an answer to anything that will bring about the progress of your country and of your nation. So see this book here, Taking Nigeria from Economic Recession into Global Economic Dominance. Nigeria Economy, the Way Forward. What am I writing about in this book? What is this book going to be about? You are going to be surprised, because this book is talking about, I'm working out a strategy, and I'm writing here about strategies of how Nigeria could build our economy for the next 100 years. Normally, this is one of the talks that Mayowa likes to question me and query me about. That how come you are thinking, concerning my own life, I always talk about living and preparing preparing things for the next 300 years, 300 to 500 years. But here I am writing a book about my country, and writing now not just a book, a spiritual book or about faith or something, but I'm writing an economic program book for the next 100 years. And the economic program and the strategy that I'm putting here, they are not for the next 10 years or for the next 20 years, but for the next 100 years. So this is one of the ways that all of us must learn to think. So this is more than just the book, The Nigerian Economy. This is about way of thinking. This is about being so holistic and being so global and being so erudite, so that you are able to actually provide solutions to the questions and problems of your nation and any kind of problem in the society. So if I say I am God's servant and I say I'm a personality, the way I understand it, if I'm a personality for real, I should be able to provide solution to anything that is a challenge, anything that is a problem, anything that is darkness, anything that is causing people discomfort. I must be able to come out with a solution and with an answer. So being a Nigerian and knowing that Nigeria is going through economic recession, I decided to come up with solution. Will the government pay attention to it? I don't know. They may not. Would they hear me? They might not. But do I have my conscience cleared? Yes. Because I have done my own work and I've done my best to come up with lasting solution that will be good enough for the country for the next 100 years. More so, I am providing solution and giving advices that are not just going to sustain the country for the next 100 years, but are going to be good enough to lift Nigeria up from a third world economy to become one of the top 10 economies in the next, before the year 2050. So my own program with this book is to make Nigeria the top 10 economy in the world. And if we are going to become the top 10 economy in the world, you tell me how many countries in Europe will have overtaken? Almost everyone. Maybe there will only be 3 or 4 countries, or maybe 5 maximum, that will be ahead of Nigeria. So I want to get Nigeria to a place whereby we will be ahead of every country in Europe. So that's why I'm not planning to stay in Europe. I'm planning to go to a country that I will build, that I will contribute to, whereby the country will be in a position to overcome any country that even our people are running to live in. So that we will not need to stay in Europe to live, but we could build a country that will rival and even do better than the European countries. So my own plan with this economy, if this program and these strategies that I've worked out here, if they are going to be followed by my government and by my countrymen, by the grace of God, by that year 2050, Nigeria should be, economically, should be ahead of England. We should be ahead of England. We should be ahead of every other country in Europe. Maybe we should be at par with France and Germany. Maybe even ahead of Germany. Maybe ahead of France. Maybe only Germany will be at the same level with Nigeria. So that is the kind of thing I've written in this book. So if you don't have this book, if you have not yet read this book, or if you have not gotten a copy of this book, you might need to want to go to Amazon to look for it. These are serious talk here. These are grown-up men's talk here. These talks are for grown-ups. These are discussions for matured minds. And even if you are not going to practice it, or you are not going to understand everything there, but I think it might just be a good idea for you to just get acquainted with Pastor Sunday's mind and with his plan and dream for the continent, for the country, and for the continent as well. Now, this is not my Nigeria transformation project. This is apart from that. This is just for the government and for the country. These are just policies that the government will need to implement. So these are not yet what I'm going to do personally. Those are going to be different. That is Nigerian Transformation Project. That is totally different, with totally new set of budget and finances. But here is about what the government needs to do. And this is like positioning the country as a whole. Position. So I'm sure you might want to have an idea of what I'm talking about here, right? Yeah. You think they want to have an idea?
You would be very good.
Okay, I started this book by talking about Nigeria as the future. I'm talking about Nigeria here as an emerging market. So I'm seeing Nigeria and picture is right now it's already an emerging market. So I am talking here about how other countries went from the stage where Nigeria is to become global economists. So I'm talking here and using the parallel of Nigeria and countries like China, how they went from emerging market to become a global economy, and how Nigeria could use their experience to also build a global economy. Then I'm talking about India as another example of how they went from being an emergent economy or emerging economy to become a global economy. Also I began to talk about the youth and products, made in Nigerian products. But then I spent a whole chapter here, chapter 2, to talk about our dependency on oil. Of course, you cannot talk about Nigeria without talking about that one. So, and I call it the easy money syndrome. Because when a country depends on raw materials only, that's why we don't live like in Europe. You know, in Europe, everybody has to work. If you don't work, they are maximizing the resources of all their citizens almost. Only if you are too old or you are too young, then you don't work. Or even if you are incapacitated, even if you are, disabled, still you still work. So because they are maximizing, because they are not depending on raw materials, so they are maximizing what we call human capital. But in Nigeria, we don't even maximize human capital, even though we have larger population. But in Nigeria, maybe in a family, everybody is dependent on some relatives. If you are from Africa, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody is dependent on some rich somebody somewhere. Why? Because all the other human resources, they are not being maximized. So we have not built our economy in such a way that everybody will be compelled to produce. Right now, in Nigeria, I would probably say, since it's only 50% of Nigerian economy that is even educated, and talking about educated, that is like who can write and read. And some of those can only write and read in their Yoruba or Hausa or Igbo. So they cannot even write and read in English. So do you really call that educated? So if it's 50% that is educated, just being able to write and read, the ones that will be able to speak English will be like 20%. Let's say 30, let's be generous. 30 will be able to speak English. But is that really educated? I know people here in this country who are students or who are Nigerians who have finished some degree or the other, and they said they are supposed to be educated because they went to school or university. For me, they are not even educated at all. So to really look at people who are educated, who went to university or high school, or some education, maybe that would be 20%. And then to look at that and say how many of those are truly educated and be maximum, because most of maybe half of the people who went to university in our countries might not even have a gain employment. They might not be gainfully employed. So I think Nigeria, the whole Nigeria economy is being sustained by like 5 to 10% of the population. Those are the people who are really the thinkers. Now, I'm not talking about the unskilled labor, like the market women and the people who are just selling by the roadside. And I'm not talking about the farmers, local people in the villages who are just, barely surviving. But I'm talking about the thinkers, the people who really know what they are doing, who are really builders of the economy. It will just be like 5%, maybe maximum 10% of the economy. That is the human capital that is maximized in Nigeria, in Africa. So, but in Europe, it's like almost almost all working population have some kind of work or the other. Maybe if they don't have, that's why they're able to have welfare, because enough people are working to be able to provide welfare for people who are disadvantaged. But we cannot afford to do that in Africa because the amount of population that is working, let's say 10%, really fully engaged, and then 90% have to depend on them. So there is even no money to do the road. Why? Because we are used to we don't feel the pressure to develop our human capital and to make our economy human capital dependent. That is not being addressed right now in my country. So that is one. Can you imagine the potential? If we are only dependent on 10% of our population, that is human capital that is being exploited right now. And those are the ones that are pulling to get the economy. Can you imagine the potential when 90% or 80% or 70% or 60% that have not been employed now, or they are not even organized labor? Most of the people who are all those 90%, they are not even organized. Young people are running about the street, they are selling some things. Other people are just hustling. It's not an organized economy. Can you imagine if we will be able to? So Nigeria has huge resources in that sense. So, and then because, you can just sell oil. So everybody is just relaxed. But when the oil dries up, we'll be forced. But why should we wait until we are forced? We could maximize, we could go ahead and do that. Of course, I'm not even talking about the fact that we don't have electricity. Right now, we only have like 10% of electricity that we need in the country. Is it 10%? Yeah, like 10%, 15%. 80%, let's say, or 85% of our electricity need is not even, we are not even producing it yet. So that also gives us a huge potential of the economy we could still build. So a lot of strategies and a lot of things that we could maximize, but I'm not even going to talk about electricity here. So the things I am talking about here is about the oil. First of all, if you talk to a Nigerian right now, they will tell you that Nigerian economy is 75% dependent on oil. Have you ever heard that before? You never heard of that before? ID, have you ever heard of that before? That the Nigerian economy is 75% dependent on oil. Well, everybody has heard about this, but that is not true. That is just an assumption. It's not based on fact. But I've heard even government ministers say this. I've even heard maybe not presidents, but I've heard ministers in charge of the economy or finance mention things like that. But it's really not true. Nigerian economy is only 14% dependent on oil. And people say 75%. But really there is the figure 75%. 75% Nigeria is dependent on oil, but not on oil. We are dependent 75% on foreign currency that comes from oil. I don't know if you get it. You know the difference? Yeah. The oil only contributes 14% to the general economy of Nigeria, $500 billion. But the foreign income, foreign currency that Nigeria has, 75% of it comes from oil. Now you know what that problem is. That is that a problem of economy or a problem of export? What do you think?
I think probably export, because if it stop, then
Let me take you to school.
Yes, I'm thinking it's a problem of export, because if the export stops, then even that income would dry up, regardless of the. So if people around the world who are exporting the oil no longer wants the oil anymore.
No, you don't get it. You didn't get my question. You didn't get my question. My question is, Nigeria's economy is not 75% dependent on oil. Oil only contributes 14% to the Nigerian economy. Maybe less now, maybe like 8%. So it's not true that we are 75% dependent on oil. But the number 75%, where people get it from, by saying we are 75% dependent on oil, is that it is not our income. Income is not 75% dependent on oil too. We are 75% of our foreign currency is coming from oil. That is the difference. Not 75% of our economy or our income, but 75% of our foreign currency. So what is the problem here, right there? Is it the problem of the economy or is it the problem of export? Okay, tell us why export.
I still think it's a problem of export because it's the foreign currency that is required to export. So the money that we need to export, or we would need or we depend on, which is the 75%, if we don't have that, then we won't be able to export because that's a currency that we depend on. No?
No.
I still think it's export though, rather than the economy being a problem. The economy. Can anyone else take this?
Yeah, okay. Maybe Kate wants to help you or what?
Kate, do you want to help?
But you didn't hear everything.
I think
You read the book?
Yes.
Ah, that's why you was. But do you understand the question? You must understand the question.
Can you repeat one more time?
But you didn't hear the question. You want to come and help your girlfriend.
I heard the question, but I don't want to reply incorrectly. I want it to very...
Okay. The Nigerian economy, everybody in Nigeria, my country, think that we are 75% dependent on oil. That our economy is 75% consisting of oil. But I said, and I proved in this book, that is not true. We are only like 14% dependent on oil. So, which means that 76% of our economy is diverse, is dependent on other things. So our economy is very vibrant without oil. But we have a problem connected with oil. And the problem is our 75% of our foreign currency that is coming to Nigeria, we get it through the export of oil.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Now, the question that I'm having is, what is the problem with the Nigerian economy? Why do we have to be 75% dependent in our foreign currency on oil? And what is the problem? Is that the problem of the economy, or that is the problem of our export?
exports though.
Okay, tell me what you think.
But that's not the
So-
question you asked me.
That's not the question I
That's
asked.
not
Okay,
what I
do you want to
No, I
answer
want
this
Kate to
question?
answer, no.
You can answer the question. if you
No,
want.
Okay, so the export of oil is the export of raw material, which means that it's not economy. The problem in economy is that this material is not reworked, like products. Products are not created out of those raw materials. It means that Nigeria has golden mine, and gives out everything instead of using and processing this to build even more wealth, which can be then exported and can give, instead of those 14% of income, can give much more if it will be processed. This is the problem not in export, it's problem in economy, how it's built.
So you can answer if you want. You want to help too? Yeah, corporately.
I still think the problem is, even with Kate's explanation, I still think the problem.
No, you give your own explanation.
Yes, I still think the problem is still with the export, because if it sounds as though, with the raw materials and all the explanation Kate gave, that we are giving our resources out away.
Don't touch our answer.
Okay,
You say you
like,
can answer.
Okay, let me think. I'm thinking that it's still a problem of export rather than the problem of economy, because if only 14% is on the oil, but the 75% of the income that we depend on, which is in foreign currencies, is based on the income of the 14% oil, then it means that if we no longer no one needs our oil anymore, then we would have no foreign currencies to trade, and also we are probably locked down to those people that we trade with the 14% oil. So that means it's only their currency that we can use. If they're paying us with foreign currency and we depend 75% solely on that, well, not solely, 75% on that, it means that we're dependent on them to have any other to have currency to trade with other people. So that's really my explanation.
Okay. So I said, is the problem with the economy or the problem with the export?
It's in the export.
Oh, you said export.
Yes.
Okay. I think the problem is with the economy.
Okay.
And the problem is the economy, because we need to regear our economy into producing other products that will be good enough and competitive enough to also be exported. Right now, it means that since our economy is only 8 to 14% dependent on oil, it means that 75 or 76% of our economy is produced for the local market. Because the things that I'm getting, only the thing that is 14% is giving us 75% foreign currency. It means that's the only product that is worth exporting, or that is good enough to be sold outside where we get foreign currency. So what are the other things we are producing in the country? Why are we not exporting them to also bring in 75% resources or potential more, 76% more potential of foreign currency? Why are we not sending them out to bring us foreign currency? That's the problem. It's because our economy is not structured, and our products are not being produced purposefully for the foreign market, where they will be competitive, and also they are not competitive enough to be desired, that other people will rather buy them. So the economy has to be rearranged and remanaged. So now the problem is, anybody could ask me the question, is there any other thing Nigeria can produce or export?
Plentiful.
What are the things we could produce and export? Most people there is nothing apart from raw materials. Now everybody is talking raw materials in Nigeria. If you raise this question in Nigeria, even this Buhari government, they are always talking about, oh, we have other raw materials. We shouldn't be dependent. Every time they are talking in Nigeria, they say we shouldn't be dependent on oil. And so what should we do now? Oh, we have to diversify the economy. You know what they mean when they say that? When they say that, they mean we have booty men, or what do you call it, booty men? Yeah, raw materials. Yeah, we have that they used to do asphalt, the road. So okay, we have these booty men, we have gold, we have other raw materials. Oh, we have them in every state. Every state have so many raw materials. So let's not just export oil. Let's export other raw materials. Oh, okay. Then other people will say, oh, before the oil came, we used to have foreign currency from agricultural products. So cocoa, this Western Nigeria produces cocoa. Now Ivory Coast has overtaken us. We stopped the production of cocoa. But this is still talking about raw materials. Why should you just be talking about raw materials? That is what makes my book different. Even though those things are legitimate, we could still go to cocoa, we could still go to yam, we could still go to cassava, we could still go and be exporting. Okay, they are talking about Malaysia. Oh, Malaysia used to come and learn from Nigeria how to do and how to produce palm oil. Now they are number one in the world producing palm oil, and Malaysia and Indonesia. But Nigeria now is not, like, we are nowhere. Oh, we used to do this and and rubber and timber. Now it is this other country that is doing timber. That is where all of Nigerian politicians are still in. They are still talking like that. But we're in the 21st century. Why should you be talking about raw materials? Oh, we have so many this, we have so many this. Now we have a whole minister in charge of raw materials, mineral resources. That is what the whole country is still talking about. Now, Kate mentioned something. She mentioned that processing. And for you to do processing, what Kate has talked about, is also the problem of economy. But for us to produce, she is saying that we should not just export raw materials, we should process them. When we finished product, then it's more expensive. It's more worth. Then we can sell. But with finished product, I don't think it's going to be easy for us to be competitive. That for us to be exporting finished product, it means that we have to be industrialized. We have to have metallurgical company. We have to have produce our oil, our steel. We have to be able to produce, industrial product. But in my country, Nigeria, people think we have industry, but we don't have industry. We don't have any industry at all. We are not an industrial society. We are just pre-industrial society. We are just, no, we are just agrarian society, they call it, right? But I want to use another word. We are like feudal society. Feudal society. We are just a feudal society. Yeah, we are like Stone Age society. Yes, that's better way to say. We are still a Stone Age society. So, but what am I recommending in this book? Now that I've written a book and I've said, despite the fact that we're still so backward and we're still in the feudal society, Stone Age society, and I'm now saying, before the year 2050, I've written a book that will make Nigeria to overtake every country in the world and make us to be in the top 10. What is that? Where is that coming from? How can Nigeria, what are the things I've written in this book that will make Nigeria to have economy that will compete with England and France and be in the top 10 in the world? What will I say? What am I recommending? Especially if I'm saying we should stop depending on oil, and then we shouldn't depend on raw materials. What is it that I'm getting? Where am I going? What answer could Pastor Sunday probably be giving? And that is why you all must get this book. That is why you all must get this book. Then you will know that you've got a pastor here. Pastor Sunday here is not ordinary. He's not just a pastor. He's somebody that is working with his brain. And this is not my parameter. This is not, my whatever, my, arsenal. It's not my, whatever you call it. It's not my arena. It's not my area. But despite the fact that it's not my area, I'm able to come up with a solution that I believe will make Nigeria to grow for the next 100 years. So what are the things I probably recommending here for Nigeria economy? Let's hear what people will say first before we go back to that one.
Hello everyone, isn't this interesting? What? I feel like I'm back in school, but even better because this is practical and is focused on a country that is very dear to my heart. So let's hear what everyone is saying.
Maybe she is thinking. She's also thinking.
Is somebody thinking?
Yeah, she's thinking.
Oh, but it's not fair. I read the book. It's not fair.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Pastor Uche not Pastor Uche, just joined. So we have, it's still pastoral, sir. That's Christina that is saying that you're not just a pastor, but she's saying that this is still pastoral. Monica is saying good evening to everyone. Majid says, let's deal with power and look into our education system. Very important. Then
those are, okay.
Go ahead.
Power, education system, those are redundant answers. Everybody is talking about economy, education system, power, everybody already know that. But we still don't have. So what are the strategies that I have to still make Nigeria the top countries in the world?
Wow, those Sundays really getting us to think here. In commercial quantity.
What in commercial?
I think this person probably is talking about infrastructure or developing industries. I don't know. Mola just says, DSA, would you say Nigeria is a possible Japan that never matured? Christina again is saying, and we are not even farming. Christina says, not industrial at all, just agricultural. T. Shola says, where is electricity to process its infrastructure? Majid says, too much talk, little or no action. Mola just says, our old cultural manufacturing processes that mirror the image of Japan, like raffia mats, bamboo products, all of them have been stolen by Westerners. Not true. If they stole the first one, they just keep stealing the rest. Nope. Kazim says every human being needs to discover their vision and passion and pursue it. Then,
not bad.
Then amazing development will come to our country. That's Kazim. That's saying that.
Kazim says that.
Kazim Ahmed Olatunji.
Oh, smart guy.
Dr. Sunday saying smart guy, Kazim. So you got past smart there. Anthony saying
that is a long way to come, but okay. I have other things apart from that. But that's a good answer, very smart.
Okay. So Kazim, did you hear Dr. Sunday? He said this is a good. Your answer is a good answer, very smart answer. Anthony says we need to build processing chain. Tishula says services. Nike says palm oil. Gift says that they really need to be real, arrange and develop. Kazim again says human resources development is the key. Nike says cola nut. Nike again says cocoa. Tisha says agricultural products. Kazim says bitumen.
That's what I speak about.
Tisha says cocoa, then palm kernel from Nike. And then most of the countries that forget minerals resources has now discovered their own bad market, I guess. Yes, gifts. Then what else do we have? 14% of GDP is responsible for 75% of foreign currency. Okay. I think Anthony is just repeating what you said. Okay, I think that's the answers that we've got. Kazim again says, in addition, Nigeria does not have a functional refinery to process the crude oil. Hence, we need the crude oil out for processing. Okay, that's a good point. 76% of the economy is only generating 14% in foreign currency. That's Evans that's saying that. That's repeating what you're saying. Anthony says we are not exporting other goods as we should. We could to generate foreign currency. Here we are talking about the country's GDP. ISCO is saying that. Kazim again says every economy should be dependent on human resources, which means to be developed and deployed. Gibbs is saying every youth that is still roaming on the streets, I think he's meant to say, need to have so they will all also know. Gift is saying that every youth, gift blessing Amos says every youth that is still roaming on street needs to have so they will also know is not only the start. Government need to be blamed for the unhealthy economy. Them they have part to do. Yeah. Okay. No, we get more foreign currencies from exports and strengthen our naira. That's Pastor Edwin that's saying that. Majid is saying, with such a great potential, for God's sake, what can we do to start making sense of our economy? Let's get this book. Majid, okay? Is Dr. Sunday ready? Kazim again says, Nigeria economy should be dependent on human resources, which has been developed and deployed. I think I read that earlier. Majid said is watching closely.
Huh?
He said he's watching closely.
Okay.
DSA, your standard is very high and out of the box, and that is what makes you exceptional. That's what Pastor Edwin is saying that. Gift is saying, you're right, sir. Nigerian government must also do their own part for the new strategy. They need to implement new principles.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
If they are ready.
Yeah, I think they're ready now. Let me see if there's anything at the bottom. D. Joe says laser interest on oil. Online is on Amazon.
Not laser, less.
Oh, lesser. Sorry, lesser. I don't know where I got the A from. Lesser. It's lesser. Sorry, D. Joe. Where can we get the book on the internet? Dr. Sunday's doing this. Here and Now, can't spell.
It.
You can get the book on Amazon, but any Amazon you can get it on. So, and also Okada Books, electronically you can get it on Okada Books and any good bookshops. Okay. Somebody said. Somebody says, Christina says we can go into renewable energy, farming equipment, e.g., solar energy farms, etc. That's from Christina.
Okay.
Well done, guys.
I'm going to
Burst our bubbles.
I'm not sure that even if people will read the book, if they don't pay keen attention, that they are going to get all these things very well. But you have to really read this book because it's an economic book. And it's about, it's professional book. It's about national book. It's not like just reading spiritual stuff. So, but I'm coming with unstandard, or what they call it, out of the box remedies. The first thing that we could already begin to do right now is to take advantage of, let me say this way, is to turn something that is giving Nigeria a bad name right now into money-making machine. Yes, there is something every Nigerian knows about. There is a word every Nigerian knows about. That we could turn to money-making machine. What did you say?
Is it 419?
What?
419. I said 419.
Okay, bring everything. Clap for yourself.
I was just guessing that the brain of the 419.
Because right now, Nigerian 419 people have brought so much bad name to the country, and they have made themselves recognized and recognizable almost in every country of the world. There is no country you will go to where they don't know Nigerian 419 scam. What the Nigerian government is supposed to do is to turn that into a huge market.
Industry.
Turn into an industry. Turn it into our Silicon Valley. Yahoo boys.
Who would have thought of that?
Who would have thought of that? Pastor Sunday would have thought of that. What they could do is to build IT villages in every major cities and in every state, where all the Yahoo boys will be legalized. And they will be getting percentages for what? For whatever money they produce.
Doing Yahoo.
Not doing Yahoo. They have to be re-qualified from doing fraud and Yahoo 419 into IT professionals. They are already good in computer. They are already using computer to do evil, to do bad things.
Cybersecurity.
Yeah, so they have to convert that into positive energy. The negative energy into positive energy. Right now, India is one of the #1 IT market, IT industry, IT something in the world. And they are exporting IT like crazy. They are professionals. So, but we already have people who love computer, who use it to do damage. But the same creativity and the same access to computer and the same zeal converted to make them begin to write programs. And writing programs will even give them more money and also more legal money than all the risk they are putting themselves into now. I am going to start that in Nigeria if the Nigerian government will not listen. I'm going to take them off the street and off the danger of being arrested and off making bad name for Nigeria as well. That is my number one answer. Number two answer for the Nigerian economy. Nigerians also might not like this thing I'm about to say. Okay, the first one I said about the Yahoo boys and 419, it's not that they will not like it. They will like, it's an original thing, but you need to have a heart for people. You need to love people to do that. So government don't care for people, unfortunately, so they might not do it. But this next one I'm saying, the people who are going to fight it will not be the government. The people who are going to fight will be Nigerians. The idea is to raise up, intentionally raise up, to use the Nigerian government money, federal government budget, to empower capitalists, to raise up macro capitalists. And Nigerians don't like that because Nigerians even want to take the money from Dangote. Let me tell you the story where I got this from. I got this idea from Obasanjo. You know, before Obasanjo came the second time, Nigerians don't like this, but they don't even know this. Some of them even hate Obasanjo. But thanks to Obasanjo, you know, the most populous country in the world, Nigeria, used to be the most oil-rich country in the world. One of the most in Africa, the most oil-rich country in Africa. And used to have a lot of oil, a lot of money. You will not believe it. We had money, but we're having poor country and poor people. Before the year 2000, we never had $1 billion in US dollars. All the rich people we used to talk about that we are, Abiola, Dantata, all those people, they were poor people. We never had one human being from Nigeria who was a billionaire. So, it is only Obasanjo that started the policy, and his dream was to raise up 100 billionaires in Nigeria. He didn't succeed, but at least he succeeded in raising up 20 or so, or 30. But that's what I think we should do in Nigeria. I think we should target raising up 100 billionaires and use the federal government resources to do it. So what Obasanjo did was he used our resources and empowered people like Dangote. Obasanjo made Dangote billionaire. He made Otedola billionaire. He made all these people, all these billionaires that have come from, all these people, he made them billionaires, official billionaires. Not the ones who stole money, but these ones are official billionaires. The reason is because, and this is my own vision, why do we need to have billionaires? We need to have billionaires because, and why should we purposefully use our national money to raise up billionaires? Because if we succeed in raising up billionaires, we have to raise them up with a purpose and with an assignment. What assignment? We have to look for the people who are already talented, who are already doing well in any industry. Let's say, for example, you are already, by your own power, by yourself, struggling, and let's take Innocent. That is a Nigerian guy, they call Innocent Shuku Emeka or something. He's producing a car, not assembling car, but producing cars in Nigeria. He himself started his own company, but he's only producing like 200 cars. 200 cars a year or 200 cars a month? That's nothing. Why don't we put all part of our budget, Nigerian money, into it? He's already tried his best. He has already proved himself. Why don't we just loan him money, empower him, give him credit, ship, and give him the capacity to produce not 200 cars a day or a month or something. Let him produce 2,000 cars a day. and fill Nigerian market with our own cars. And if he succeeds in being empowered to become a billionaire, and the assignment we have to give him is not to become a billionaire for himself, but to build multinational companies. Now, our car might not be able to compete with Japanese cars. It might not be able to compete with American cars or with the European cars. But let it be multinational, at least for the 50 countries of Africa. And for other developing countries of Caribbean, Asia, and things like that. So that they will be able to afford it. That way, we are building a whole market which is not dependent on raw materials. Then it's going to give employment to a lot of people, and also cars people will always be in need of cars. Then that cars will bring in a lot of foreign currency, more than oil that you could finish. Like Germany, for example, car is one of their main foreign currency earners. I don't know if you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say that is another strategy. Let's say if I will look for 100 most promising Nigerians who are doing well. Let's say, for example, Professor Chris Imafidon. I will call him as the federal government and say, we are ready to make all your wildest dreams come to pass. Because you've been able to produce the best brain consistently, and you've been the best in England and in the world to produce promising. What are the resources we need to put in you? Because if we are able to, I will build an industry around him. I don't know if you are getting it.
Yeah.
Set a whole system up, a chain of producing exceptional minds. Every year, we're producing thousands, millions of Nigerian minds like that. We will be the most sought after expatriates. And as expatriates, the country will be exporting and begin getting a lot of income, a lot of capital. That's another idea. Through education and through mind. Next thing we could do. There is a Nigerian guy. I've written about him in this book. Michael Akindele. Michael Akindele started on his own producing mobile phones and what do you call them? Devices. What do you call this? Smartphones. Yeah, but you call them some devices. What do you call tablets and mobile devices. So he has started producing mobile devices on his own. And his mobile devices are branded for Africa. They are more conducive, better than for our own situation. If I were the one, I would build an industry around it. Because what is conducive for Nigeria is conducive for other countries. And we will begin to flood, just like China did, products, cheaper products. Maybe worse quality, but affordable. Not just to the Nigerian market, but to all the developing countries. That way, we are automatically becoming, because it's already producing them. We just need to give him the 100 times the capital. Use the federal government as an investment for him. He's going to return the money, but with the product themselves, the export, those things will replace all the export that's coming from money. I mean from oil, sorry. Another guy in Nigeria is called Taofik Okoya. This Taofik Okoya, in Nigeria, the most, not just in Nigeria, in every country of the world, the most sold, widely sold toy is called Barbie. I'm sure you people should know about Barbie, especially being girls. You know Barbie? You don't know Barbie? Huh?
Yes, I know Barbie.
Toys. Everybody knows Barbie. Okay. Why do you all know Barbie? Because it's the biggest toy company in the world. But this Taofiq Okoya single-handedly shut down that market in Nigeria. You know why? He started producing alternative African, no, not Barbie, but toys, or what do you call them?
Yes, black dolls.
Dolls. But he's producing just very little quality, but he's being exported everywhere. Why don't we empower somebody like that? Without money, he's been able to prove himself and shut down all these international companies, American companies. They couldn't compete with him. He's shutting them we could shut them down all over Africa and all over the world. That would be another import and money earning industry for Nigeria. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yes.
Okay. Then another thing we could do is that right now we have one of the major miracles that Obasanjo brought to Nigeria and did one of his greatest contributors to the Nigerian state is that he was able to do what they call, is it merging of banks or what do you call it? They call it something else. Maybe somebody knows. No, not merging bank. Is it upgrading, like bank upgrading? They call it something else. Consolidation of banks.
Consolidation of banks.
Yeah, I think it's consolidation they call it. So he did bank consolidation. Before he did that bank consolidation, the highest Nigerian bank was like number 20,000 in the world. No ranking, out of ranking. Even they were no ranking in Africa, talk less of the world. But for you to be in the ranking in the world, you've got to be in the top 1,000 banks in the world. So thanks to the consolidation that he did, thanks to him, right now we have First Bank, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, United Bank of Africa, Access Bank, Eco Bank, that have become rated. This one, First Bank, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, United Bank of Africa, Access Bank, Eco Bank, 6 banks now from Nigeria are in the top 500 banks of the world. We just needed to be in the first 1,000 banks of the world. We are now second tier. We have 6 banks from Nigeria that are international banks in the second tier. We are not in the first tier yet. So what do I think we could do? So these are new generation business mind that can compete on international level. What I will do, I will set up, because we have these banks, I will set up Nigeria as the next London financial capital of the world. But maybe not compete with London and New York, and Singapore and Hong Kong, which are the top financial capital. But we need such a financial capital in Africa. And we will take them to be we'll help them to get to the top 100 banks. Right now we have 10 Nigerian banks in the top 1,000 of the world. 6 of them are in the first 500. Think 3 of them or 4 of them are in the top 300 already. Why don't we help them get into the first 100 and then get a fee in the first 50? If we are able to get in the first 50 or in the first 100, we are going to be like tier 1. We are going to be able to issue letter of credit and everything to, So we have to do everything to do that. Then you'll be at par with London, New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Tokyo. We need to set up that kind of center in Nigeria. But federal government needs to do this. But, I am a white guy, right? They will have all their reasons why they will say, oh, we shouldn't do it or something, but I want to do it. Next thing that I think will give Nigeria money is this. Make Nigeria a visa-free country. Immediately, visa-free. No need for visa. Even if you say, okay, there will be terrorists coming in. People are afraid of terrorists, Islamic terrorists. Okay, you want terrorists? You don't afraid of terrorists? Okay, make it not visa free. But give visa, but on arrival for everybody. Right now, this new government wants to do it, but they are just doing it for businessmen. Who is a businessman? Give for everybody. Turn Nigeria to a tourist mecca. Turn it to a Dubai. Dubai did it. Free, visa free for everybody. Influx of tourism money. Hong Kong did it. Singapore did it. Turn it into a mecca, tourist mecca. And then train people to be able to give services. And Nigerian people, they are very accommodating and very friendly. One of the most friendly peoples in the world are Nigerians, believe me. It doesn't matter where they are. People say they are crime or something, but they are very friendly. In fact, they are the greatest resources Nigeria has. So the only way to tap into that is through tourism. But when we talk about tourism in Nigeria, they are talking about going to visit some place. So let's just visit. We'll find where to visit. Let's just let people come in first. But I don't know why Nigerians are so afraid of doing visa free. I would do that if I were I would do that by all means. I would do that. Then the next thing I'm going to do that will give Nigeria money. Right now, the Nigerian diaspora is already sending in, is already the second highest source of income to the Nigerian economy. Nigerian diaspora is sending in 20 billion, up to 25 billion dollars to the Nigerian economy every year. But this is without being organized. They have a ministry of diaspora or something, but I don't think what they do. Nobody is getting in touch with me. They don't have database. They don't have infrastructure in place. They have an idea that could be something that but Nigeria is supposed to go and learn from countries like India, countries like I have in the book here all the countries that have done well. Mexico, who have now some countries have 80% of their budget of their GDP is coming from diaspora, and they have less population than us, or as much as us. But we could do the same thing. So, but we need to have a fanatic in this idea. We need to have somebody who is addicted with this concept, who is addicted with structure, and with foreign, diaspora. These are the kind of people. And then we need to have, we need to establish ways and means for these people to be able to be trusted, so that they have trusted people on ground, that anything they want to do, that we are doing it for them, and their money will not be stolen or be, they are foreign. Right now, everybody is just doing through their relatives, and then their relatives are deceiving them. But we need to set up a structure that they will absolutely believe in. If Nigerians that are in the diaspora right now sending 20 billion, we should set a target that Nigerians will be sending 100 billion. If they send 100 billion, that's like multiply 5 times whatever they are sending right now. If they send 100 billion, and our whole GDP, not budget or GDP, is only 500 billion. 100 billion a year, every year, that's like going to be like 5 times our budget. We could get that from the diaspora alone. That is what I could have done. And there is another way. These are the things I'm talking about in the book. And other things I talked about in the book is to turn a place like Aba. Aba, they have all those Aba, Owerri. These are places where they are producing all the counterfeit, all the kind of products, right? I would turn it to free trade zones. Free trade zones. So we need to turn Aba to free trade zones, and Kano and Lagos and other places like, all these major cities in Nigeria. Just turn them to free trade zones where there will be no no tax and nothing like that. And I try to support them. I try to support the local currencies. And okay, how many points have I made? I think I've made like 6, 7, right? I think that's enough. I have many, many more in this book. So let me give all my secret out. Let them go buy the book. This is the book. And my time is over anyway. Are you intrigued?
I'm totally. It's interesting me so much.
But you never paid attention to the book before.
No.
You never pay attention to my book until I begin to talk about it. Yeah? Even Kate wants to talk something. Come. She has an idea. You see that I belong to Nigeria now.
Yes.
I can do wonder in that country, but who will listen? Who knows? We'll see.
There was one lady who asked in the beginning why you're not talking about other countries. When I read this book, I immediately started. First of all, I don't have any economical education. I read about economics. There was just, meanings of the words and everything. I couldn't understand a lot. But when I was reading these books, I had like pictures, I had plans, I had everything, but for Greece.
For Greece, yeah,
yes.
Because that's your country.
I started to see how it can be solved, how all the
can
problems
develop
can be
any country.
I could see, when I went
so
to
this
Greece,
book could be applied, the principles could be applied for every country.
For every country. When I went to Greece in winter, I saw on the streets, I saw people who could be solving Greece problems. And I met with my friend in Greece who is studying in university 3rd year. And we spoke to her. She is studying economics, and I spoke to her. She thought that I have an education in this. Just I read the book. So what I want to say is that
she thought you have the education.
Yeah,
just because you read my book.
Yeah, because she wasn't even talking. She was just with open mouth. That's it. And
because you became so smart.
Because I took what was in the book, but I reprocessed it for Greece, and because I talked about Greece. And I investigated what Greece has and which opportunities it can have. Then she was listening like with open mouth. So what I want to say is that the book is simple to read. It's easy to read. I mean,
don't cover.
It's easy. It's easy to read, but at the same time, it's so much educational, and you will be shocked how easy it will to read. Will be to read. And even if you don't have economical education, you will immediately start seeing solutions. This is what this book does. It turns your brain into a machine that finds solutions. So this is the book that everyone must have. As soon as possible. It doesn't matter. Just Greece is in my heart. That's why I was seeing everything for Greece. But it's a bomb. So everyone must have it. This is what I wanted to share.
What are you thinking?
I think in terms of if you don't have any ideas of what to do or what to do.
No, what were you just thinking, listening to my solution, why the discussion was going on?
Usually when you talk about Nigeria and what you're going to do, I always think that it's a tall order. How is it going to be possible? But now with this book and the review, excuse me, I absolutely think that it's possible and it's doable as well, and more people can get involved. To me, it felt like it was something that was only possible for a special type of mind. But now, I even had, from what you're saying and everything, it's almost like my mind just woke up to ideas, because
even your mind woke up?
Yes, even my mind. Even my mind woke up. That's what they said. Yes, because I thought, yes, there are things that could be done, but I didn't have any idea. But this, from each idea that Dr. Sunday gave and which solution, there are 10 other, not even 10, what am I even talking about? There are about 100 businesses and solutions within one on its own that somebody can create. And it's just so enlightening, so liberating, so empowering just to hear this. And It feels like that this book shouldn't even just be sold. It should be special edition, and only a few people should have it because it's just
now
so
you know
cool.
why I call it going from taking Nigeria from economic recession into global economic dominance.
Yes.
Do you now believe Nigeria?
I do. And also I've learned a lot about Nigeria from just this session alone. I have certain understanding of Nigeria GDP, where the economy is going, the raw materials that they have. So I really can't wait to read this book. I think I'm going to get it electronically right now so that I'll start reading. Because I've been here for 5-6 months now, and I keep thinking, when am I going to have an idea of what to do with Nigeria and when we go to Nigeria for the Nigerian Transformation Project? And this is my solution now, because I've already thought of one so far. I know there are more. I can already see that there are more, but I've thought of one that I feel so comfortable and so excited about. So I can't wait to read the whole book.
Even the Congolese mind woke up also.
Yeah.
Come. Maybe for Congo, she has an idea.
Hi everyone, this is Julie. Yes, I'm really, really excited about this book. I usually just quickly buy the books of Dr. Sunday whenever they get
Well, you didn't buy
published.
this one.
I did.
So what happened?
I didn't read it yet. There's just so much. I mean, you also have a lot of books, so I'm trying to kind of catch up with everything.
Take your time.
But I'm so excited about this book because, especially when I think about Congo and I think about the potential that people have.
Even more than Nigeria.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, there's so many things that we could do, but we lack ideas. And I'm someone who and I'm someone who's really a hands-on person. So I like to do things and I have skills, but I may lack some ideas. And I just want to encourage everyone who is the same and who feels like, I want to do something, but I don't know what. Maybe this is the solution for you. Look for this book and read it in order to know how you can, build on the ideas that are there. You don't even need to do a lot of thinking because everything has already done in terms of coming up with ideas on what to do and what to develop in your country. So I would really encourage everyone to read this book, digest it, and try to see how you can apply your own skills and the energy and the potential you have to develop them, really. I will do that, and I want to use that for my own country as well after going to Nigeria. So do it as well.
Let me read some comments, because I'm sure you guys have lots to say right now.
You have the advert. Put them in this.
Yes.
Facebook.
Anastasia says, hello, Julie. Saying hello, Joy. Julie Joy. Okay, Rosemary says, we Nigerians read? Question.
No, that's not the thing. Find the comments that pertain to what we're talking about.
As the program is going on, it is few people that can... Okay. She's got a point, though. Yinka is saying, this can only come from uncommon brain like DSA.
Who said that?
Yinka Michael Okekunle. Mola just says, it is probably on Kindle. Most DSA books are on Amazon. Yes, if you're asking about this book, it is available on Kindle already. It has been available for some time now. So I just purchased mine during this review. I just went to my computer and purchased mine on Kindle. Yes, Julie already answered. I am blessed listening to this DSA. That's Precious saying that. Pastor Sunday, you are a God-sent universal professor. This is spirit in tangible form. Molaja is saying that as well. And we have a gift is saying brilliant, Kate. Molaja is saying again, we can make people listen by strategically teaching out to them, reaching out to them using labor union schemes or using grassroots schemes. The kind that is used to organize in the U.S. unions. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then we have, Gift says, how many Nigerian pastors' brain can still function?
Who said that?
Give bless Sulema said, how many Nigerian pastors' brain can still function this way for development of the Nigerian, of the Nigeria? Religious has eaten up all their brains. Funny. Molaja is saying, I mean the way China established community.
Oh, no, you know that.
assets in the US, Euro, etc. Then we have Muller just says, "Oh, please, you hit the nail on the head. Don't you think Nigeria needs to learn from China's kind of organization?" I think he's meant to say. Then we have question 3 for you. DSA, how would you compel people to work with good faith in carrying out these initiatives? This is not going through backdoor or schemes.
Don't worry, how to do it in good faith, that's going to be my problem.
Okay, Dr. Sunday is saying how to do it in good faith will be his problem.
I'm just giving the ideas here.
Yes.
That will be the process.
That will be part of the process. Dr. Sunday is saying that he's just giving the ideas here. That will be the process. Paul is saying Nigerians are very friendly. DSA, very correct, sir. Omonike says, yes, if they can make Nigeria a tourist country, it will be very great. I agree with you, DSA. God bless you, sir. Anastasia says, Ghanaians too, sir. That's for you to, yes, get the book, Anastasia, so that you can turn Ghana around. Paul says, get ready for explosion. T. Schiller says, you're right, sir. Gift says, power in Jesus' name, oh, devil cannot stop you, DSA. Christina says, yes, even in the UK, the financial capital sector is a major income generator sector. Then we have, yes. Guys, please share this. It's really interesting. It's something that is worth actually keeping. So share so that you can have on your page, and also you can also save. Depending on your device, you can say, actually you can save on any device. So also click on save so that you can listen to this again time and time to get the nuggets. And the best thing you can do with this kind of video is just also to get the book. And the book is available right now on Amazon. So check it out. The guy, and if you've got Amazon Prime, you can read the book free, which is not really good promotion, but check it out. I just want you to get this. Mullah just says, the guy that named the door. The guy that named the door. Yes, I saw that on your blog some years ago. That made the door. Apologies. Dolls. He said dolls, actually. Barbie, yes. Christina says, yes, we have such many brains around the globe and in the country, so it's good to get us on board. That's Christina saying that. Pastor Sunday, may God remove all obstacle of your way. Molaja is saying that, so that you can go to Nigeria, I guess. Give Blessing saying, China is now accounts for 1/5 of global manufacturing. I have thoroughly enjoyed this broadcast. Overcomer Bolarin says that. Christina again is saying, but Nigeria don't have patriotism for Nigerian cars yet. So we need to build patriotism first. That's Christina, they're saying that. Overcomer says, I am now going to my current job. I am a service experience specialist. Okay, Overcomer. Itunde says, very beautiful ideas, DSA. This is very insightful. That's Unique that's saying that. Unique is saying very true, agreeing with something you're saying. It will. Molaji says, to empower others, like lift others up. Kazim says, target raising up 100 billionaires and use the federal government budget. Those will lead to capitalization or development in the country. I think that's repeating what you said. Then we have Pastor Edwin says, but what are the official billionaires giving back to the society? Yes, that's what you said about Nigerians being the one to fight this.
Yeah. I cannot go into that now.
Yeah.
But,
a lot.
A lot. Dangote alone. If we didn't have Dangote, we would have been gone.
Yeah. Jaws alone. Overcomer says, I have college. It's IT background. Okay, I have college IT background. Thank you, Overcomer. It's like you're sending your your CV here. I have IT background. Can I come work for you, sir? That's Overcomer. I thought so. Reading from down, I thought you were sending your CV. Overcomer is saying that can he come and work for you, sir? Send your CV to me. Well, I just said fast. Oh yeah, Dr. Sunday just reminded me. You can go and complete a form on Dr. Sunday's blog, which is sundayadelajablog.com/Nigeria. There's a Nigerian transformation project that Dr. Sunday developed. So go on there and complete the form. There are 2 forms on there. So complete the one that you're interested in. First, you need to complete the one that you're interested in this project, and then there's another one for funding. So if you have ideas or you have something that you want to bring into the transformation project, then I believe that you should complete both. Okay, Pastor Sunday, you're right. No one was on Forbes like prior to the likes of Dangote. Molaja is saying that. And then Give Blessing says they should convert their 419 strategy into a positive manufacturing power. The word scam means run. Kazim says to use federal government money to build economies. Gladys says scams is scam. This way nobody can scam, and said it's positive scams. Okay, I think you didn't listen to the end. Overcomer says we have to build headquarters. Chinwei is saying, wow, that is a serious energy conversion of negative energy to positive one. And clapping, well done. Kazim number 1 says convert internet scam or 419 to positive energy. Jude is saying that's great, turning the bad energy into good energy. Afolabi Victor says which government is going to do that now? Is it Buhari government, sir? Definitely it's not this government. Pessimist. Molaja said it is wonderful that DSA's strategy always creates a win-win for everybody. Yes, that's a good observation. Alice says, sir, I have always said that it takes a genius to think like that.
Who said that?
That's Alice Obazi. Faith says, well said, sir. God Lies says the audio, okay. I think we've resolved that. Kazim says they can use the internet scam into positive energy. Anthony Arias says we need to develop the human capital. Okay. Okay, guys.
In 30 minutes we are coming back.
Yes. Okay, guys. We're coming back at 9 p.m. Ukraine time, which is 7 p.m. UK and Nigerian time. And that's exactly 30 minutes from now. So join us again to continue the series on the plague of silence. So that's in exactly 30 minutes time. Join us, please. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.